guys, we are back for another pregnancy update, and it's so crazy because when I was thinking about filming this video, I had to think, how far along am I? And I'm like, this is exciting to be at the point in my pregnancy where I can't tell you right off the top of my head what week I am, which means I'm out of the first trimester. I think every week in that first trimester you know what week you are, you know how many weeks and days you are, because you're just counting down to the end of the first trimester. So since I have passed that first trimester, I am kind of losing track, which is kind of funny and kind of exciting in the same way. But it also could be because it's around the holiday season and my mind tends to go so many other places, so that could be it. But either way, it's good to be here. Today I'm going to be talking about weeks 13 and 14 of my pregnancy, and I have some kind of major things that happened and then not so major things that happened. So I've just been wearing a lot of like tunic type thing, tunic sweaters and some leggings because that is what's comfortable, so it's been nice. I love being pregnant in the winter. I was almost pregnant exact same amount of time when I was pregnant with my daughter Avery. I'm about 2 weeks off, and it's just nice to wear comfy leggings, especially stretchy pants in the winter. Okay, so week 13, let's talk about that one. Not much happened. I feel like in my last pregnancy update, I talked about how once I got better at 9 weeks, wasn't as sick. I just started feeling really good, and that's how I've continued to feel, like super good. The only thing I can really say is I've been more tired than normal, but I'm not gonna complain about that. So week 13, early on, I noticed it was mainly at night, about 7 p.m. it would really hit me. But yeah, just really tired, I guess. And then I had an unfortunate event happen. So if you guys watched one of my last vlogs that I put up, I kind of talked about this. I had a bleeding episode. And so if you watched that, you kind of already know how it turned out. But yeah, I woke up and I went to get in a shower and I just started bleeding kind of everywhere. TMI, it was just kind of dripping all over. And I was like, oh. I've had a lot of bleeding this pregnancy. I had a subchorionic hemorrhage early on, and I've had quite a bit of bleeding since then. So I didn't freak out, but it was like, this is not supposed to continue to happen. The hemorrhage had resolved, and it was a lot. It wasn't spotting. And so I called my doctor's office, and they did want to see me. And I went in, they gave me an ultrasound, and everything was fine with the babies. So the babies were great. And they were moving around, especially baby A was just turning and moving, and they could barely get a heart rate. So it gave me a peace of mind ultimately. So it was just crazy that I had more bleeding, and it was a lot. And it's like, man, these babies are keeping me on my toes. Just when I start to feel a little bit better, they kind of creep in and they're like, hey, we're still here. So that was definitely scary, put me off, but everything is good. Everything looked good at the ultrasound, so that made me feel better. That's pretty much it for week 13. I was pretty tired and I had that bleeding episode, but other than that, it was pretty uneventful, which I guess was great. And then with week 14, it was kind of the same thing, like no major symptoms, very uneventful. It was kind of nice to have things settle down. You know, when you go through IVF, it is filled with something every single day, you know, blood draws and ultrasounds and medications multiple times a day. And I feel like I'm at that point where I'm no longer sick. I don't really feel pregnant. I mean, there are signs that I am pregnant, like I know I am. But ultimately, like, there's no glaring sign that I'm pregnant, and I'm not taking any medications. I'm feeling good, and it just feels really good to have things settle down. Also, I had appointments every week with IVF, and then I graduated, and then with the bleeding episode, I had my first appointment with the OB, and then I had the bleeding episode, which took me in the next week. So week 14 was the first week that I had not had an ultrasound basically since I found out I was pregnant. So again, you know, it was kind of nice to just have a normal week and no major symptoms, nothing. So I'm feeling pretty good right now, and I'm taking advantage because I know, especially with 2 in here, that this feeling probably will not last for long. So I'm taking advantage of feeling good and just having things be calm. I also think my belly pretty much popped in week 14. I've been waiting. It's my second pregnancy. I have 2 in there. I'm like, when is it gonna pop? And I feel like it did. People who know I'm pregnant say they really can't tell. Like when I'm at work, they're like, yeah, maybe, but you can't really tell. You don't look pregnant. Well, I feel pregnant. Sometimes Avery, my daughter, she'll take a shower with me, and she said the other day that she goes, Mommy, I can see your babies. So she can tell. Obviously, when I have no clothes on, you can tell that I'm pregnant. So she noticed, my 3-year-old noticed. So that was kind of fun and exciting for me that she noticed. And I think week 14, it's really starting to pop out a little bit more. And by the end of week 14, that's when I put on my maternity pants. I don't know why I waited so long. Like, let the babies breathe, you know, they're way more comfortable. I don't know why I waited so long, but finally week 14, I put on my maternity pants and it's felt pretty good. So something else major. So by the time this goes up, you guys should already know what the genders are. Did you guys watch that? If not, I will link it up here. But yeah, the secret is out. I'm not going to tell you in case you haven't watched it, but if you haven't watched it, go watch it here. But anyways, what I will tell you is there was a slight gender mix-up, a shocking gender reveal for us. And I want to go into more detail about this here soon, maybe in a vlog or something. I'll kind of tell you guys what happened, but it's unbelievable, I'd say. When I tell people this in my real life, they can't believe it. They're like, it sounds like it's made up. And I kind of feel like it may be made up, but I promise you it is not. So ultimately, to give you the sum, and this happened in week 13, so that's why I'm kind of talking about it. And we thought the twins' gender was something that they're really not, ultimately. Mike and I went a couple weeks without knowing the truth. So yeah, I know that sounds crazy. There was a slight mix-up. It's nothing bad. It's all good. Everything is good. It was nobody's fault. It wasn't like my IVF clinic's fault. No one's fault. It was just kind of a weird thing that happened. And yeah, let's just say we thought we were having some, you know, some gender, and then it's not what we're really having. So Mike and I kind of let our minds run wild. We thought we were having this, and then it completely changed. So it was just a big shock that we found out unexpectedly. So stay tuned for that video, because I want to definitely go into more detail with it. So this video isn't too exciting, but I guess that's good that things aren't really happening, that things are kind of calm. But I'm going to jump right into the questions that I answer during every pregnancy update. So question number 1 is, how far along am I? And it is, I'm talking about weeks 13 and 14. The size of the babies, they are, week 13, they were a pea pod, and week 14, they were lemons. Total weight gain, I have gained 3 pounds. I hadn't gained anything up until this point, so I was waiting. I knew that was going to happen. So finally, the scale went up a little bit, which made me feel good. Symptoms, I've kind of already talked about that. Really nothing. I'm feeling good. Definitely tired. That's the biggest thing. Definitely more tired, but something I can deal with and I'll take. Cravings and aversions. So my cravings, salt. I cannot get enough of salty things. Like, I want all the salt, like heavily salted peanuts. Like, I love nuts in general, like almonds and cashews and peanuts. And Mike went to the store and I wanted him to get some peanut or nuts, and I said, don't get me the lightly salted. Like, I want the full salted nuts. They're so good. Like pretzels, anything with a lot of salt I want. And then as far as aversions, nothing. I mean, there are things that don't sound as good as other things, but that's with pre-pregnancy. So really no aversions, which is good. My sleep has been really good. Again, I've talked about this probably every pregnancy update. I normally, not pregnant, don't sleep very well. I mean, I sleep well once I fall asleep, but I have a really hard time falling asleep. And that's not been the case during this pregnancy. It's been amazing. Still sleeping amazing, which I'm trying to take advantage of, because I know later in pregnancy, especially with a big belly, that's probably not going to happen. The high of the week was just, I guess, thinking of our babies and knowing what they are and knowing what's going to complete our family, and I can now picture them and I can start planning the nursery and all of that. So it's all so exciting. So that's definitely the high of the week, being able to picture what these 2 little babies are. The low of the week, I really can't say anything, guys. Things have been really good lately. And that kind of goes into, do I miss anything? No, I don't, guys. Everything is so good. Maybe it's the holidays and I'm just so grateful to be where I am right now, but I really don't miss anything. I'm loving where I'm at. And what am I looking forward to? My next ultrasound. that will be in a couple weeks, and I get them at once a month every 4 weeks. So of course every ultrasound I'm looking forward to, because, you know, until I get halfway and have the anatomy ultrasound, you know, that'll be kind of a relief to make sure everything is good. And after that, it'll be meeting the week for viability. So every week that goes by, I'm looking forward to, especially with twins, and getting that next ultrasound. So now I will show you my belly that I feel like has popped.